Welcome to our presentation with Tuolumne County. Today we are going to talk about how Tuolumne County leveraged BOSSDesk to improve their productivity and user satisfaction by implementing Triage Queuing. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Renee Demotica with BOSS Solutions. During our presentation, we will be highlighting how to manage all inbound requests within 2 hours of receipt, improve response times, streamline communication, increase user and customer satisfaction overall, embrace new technology, automate processes using workflow and our easy-to-use forms, provide scalable and secure support services across the business. At the end of the presentation, we will answer all your questions and give away an Amazon gift card. Our presenters today are Trevor Gregg, Cullen Baker, and Chris Karnkowski. Trevor Gregg is a supervisor of the IT service desk for the County of Tuolumne IT Department, overseeing daily service desk operations and managing special projects. In his 3 years with the county, he has presided over the transformation of the service desk operations to ITIL standards, implemented SLAs, managed multiple large-scale technology projects, and developed a successful college technician internship program with the local community college. Inspired to give back to his community, he finds great satisfaction supporting the organizations that provide critical services to the county residents, from the Sheriff's Office and the Fire Department to the Department of Social Services and County Board of Supervisors. With over 20 years of experience in various IT positions in different industries, Trevor brings a broad range of technical and operational knowledge, from advanced VoIP systems to TCP/IP networking to ITIL service desk operations. He obtained a degree in astronomy from San Diego State University, during which time he worked on NASA-funded research grants with the Kepler Space Telescope. Trevor's research earned him the SDSU Research Symposium President's Award in 2013. He has several published scientific papers and is also a self-published science fiction author. Our next presenter, Cullen Baker, is an IT technician for the County of Tuolumne IT Department. His responsibilities include general hardware and software support, device management, package management, and support of law enforcement and emergency personnel operations. He is also the primary BOSSDesk systems administrator responsible for the customization, programming, and day-to-day operations of our ITSM application. He started as a college intern and has since been promoted to full-time technician. Cullen has an associate's degree in computer programming, and his hobbies include building computers, gaming, hockey, and Dungeons & Dragons. He also built an active streaming community of over 1,500 followers, utilizing Twitch, Discord, and other applications to stream games and provide computer support. Lastly, Chris Karnkowski from BOSSDesk will be showcasing BOSSDesk in areas of the platform which were relevant to Tuolumne's success. We have a few housekeeping notes before we get started. Everyone will be muted throughout the presentation. We encourage you to ask questions in the Q&A, and we'll answer those questions at the end of the presentation. The presentation is being recorded, and we will email a link to participants after the presentation. Because we value your feedback, you will receive a very short survey after the presentation. If you would kindly respond with your comments, we would greatly appreciate it. BOSS Solutions at a glance. We have been in IT service management for over 25 years. We have received numerous awards and been recognized by leading authorities such as Gartner, Software Advice, Capterra, and many others in categories such as Top 20, Frontrunner, and Category Leader. Our offerings include BOSSDesk, a support and help desk solution, which is available both on-premise and in the cloud. We also offer BOSS 811, a one-call ticket management solution for the damage prevention industry. BOSS Solutions is committed to exceeding industry standards with the latest technology. We are committed to excellent customer support by providing a U.S.-based support team. Today's featured presentation will now begin with Trevor Gregg with Tuolumne County. Trevor, I will turn the presentation over to you.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to our presentation. I'm Trevor Gregg with the County of Tuolumne IT Department, IT Supervisor. Thank you for the introduction, Renee. Much appreciated. So we're here to talk about how we utilize BOSSDesk today. So first of all, who is Tuolumne County? So we are a rural county covering a pretty large territory with a fairly small population. We're in the Sierra Nevada mountains north of Yosemite Valley, and one of our major features is frequent wildfires in summer and fall. This results in the IT department being required to spin up our emergency operations center at a moment's notice. Here's one of our most iconic locations, the Pinecrest Lake, with the inlet to the lake. So who is Tuolumne County IT? Well, first of all, we are a highly committed, highly dedicated department who finds great satisfaction in supporting the departments that provide services to our county. So we are made up of the service desk team, the software analysts, our administrative support, and our networks and infrastructure team. So the IT service desk is composed of 4 technicians, 3 interns, and a supervisor, myself. We support about 850 users and do more than 3,000 service requests in a year. Our software analyst team is composed of 3 analysts and a supervisor, supporting over 30 departments in the county with over 1,100 endpoints. Our network infrastructure team has 3 network admins, a radio communications engineer, and a supervisor, supporting over 30 physical sites and over 2,000 network hosts. So when I started about 3 years ago, I noted that we had some problems with the department, with the service desk in particular. We had a slow initial response time, communications were not the best, and we had no way to see how things were working. So one of the things we thought about was adopting ITIL. We wanted to improve our first response time. We wanted to improve our communication. We could use change management. Mobile access was something we were also looking for, and cloud hosted. So our old solution, as we lovingly referred to as old and busted, had a very, very poor feature set, made it very difficult for us to manage our workflow and to get metrics. So we went with ITIL adoption so that we could split our tickets into multiple categories so that we could take advantage of change management, and so we could also tackle continual improvement. So our solution that we came up with was triage queuing. So basically what we wanted to do was have every issue that's incoming be looked at and addressed within 2 hours. Now that doesn't mean that we would actually necessarily solve the problem, but we would make our best attempt. This gave us a lot of opportunity for first call resolution. Obviously, we deal with the ticket now, we don't have to deal with it later. It also helps us to assign and prioritize. So basically what we wanted to do was create a ticket within 2 hours, respond to the customer within 2 hours, attempt a resolution within 2 hours, and if resolution is not possible, gather the information necessary for the next steps. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Cullen Baker, and he's going to go ahead and go through what we did.
Hello, my name is Cullen Baker, and I'm the IT technician for the County Tuolumne IT Department and the primary BOSSDesk Systems Administrator. So the first thing I'm going to go over is how we implemented the triage queue. Our triage queue system was built to hold tickets that need to be reviewed and triaged by our service desk team. To represent the triage queue, we utilize BOSSDesk dashboard widgets to update our team on new ticket creations. In the background, we have a custom workflow built to trigger off new ticket creation and assign it to the service desk with a new extended status. This will cause the triage queue widget to populate with that said ticket. While the new ticket gets the extended status, we also use tags to create a timeline of where the ticket traveled. This allows us to look at a ticket and know where the ticket flowed through the triage queue and then our subsequent assignment queue. And after a ticket has been triaged in the triage queue, we can then determine if it was a first call resolution and then close the ticket, or assign priority and transfer to our assignment queue to have the ticket picked up for further investigation. Secondly, our service level agreement. BOSSDesk SLA module is also heavily incorporated into our triage queue. For our service desk, we have an SLA response time of 2 hours. However, we have specific extended statuses of tickets that delay that SLA. As an example, if we set a ticket to waiting on vendor, that SLA is halted due to outcomes beyond our team's control. So as the tickets come in through the user portal, they are assigned to the triage queue, attached with a 2-hour response SLA, and then notifies our team to get hands-on. Thirdly, our DSS help desk. Our Department of Social Services has its own dedicated help desk in which we've incorporated into our BOSSDesk ticket solution. We achieve this by creating a separate team within the system, and any tickets that come from an employee of their department will be routed using a custom workflow to the DSS help desk first. Just like the triage queue, we also tag those tickets to see the routes the ticket has traveled, and in this case, through the DSS help desk. And as we see here on the screen, a department employee submits a ticket. It then goes to the department help desk and is tagged with the help desk tag. It meets a condition and then is transferred to the triage queue. Next, we have the service catalog. The BOSSDesk service catalog has allowed us to narrow the information we require when an end user submits a ticket through the user portal. As such, we've been able to provide a much more formalized approach to the services we offer, as displayed by the various service catalog items you see. Specifically, with our general IT support service catalog, our end users can fill out required information we need to troubleshoot their issue and then submit the ticket request. This request will then go directly to our triage queue to be handled accordingly. Another one of our service catalog items is the NARF, or Network Access Request Form. Previously, this was an email submitted form that required multiple teams to pass this ticket around, resulting in delayed and inconsistent completion. Now, our request is submitted via service catalog and is diverted to the correct team for increased efficiency. Our last example of a service catalog is our hardware quoting form. This is a complex form that utilizes custom workflows, task management, and the purchase order module. We start off using conditional logic to find out what type of quote it is, and then build the form accordingly depending on the user selection. As an example, if the user selects third-party marketplace, it will generate specific fields for that selection. Then, when the ticket is submitted, our custom workflow initiates based on the user selection and builds the ticket operation procedure. The ticket operation procedure comes in the form of tasks, which are created by the custom workflow. And these tasks are assigned to specific teams, such as our service desk and accounts payable, as the ticket passes through its various phases. This helps organize our quoting process. We then also utilize the purchase order module of BOSSDesk to create quotes of standardized devices and send to our users for approval, furthering our quoting efficiency.
Great. So I'm going to talk real quick about how we deployed BOSSDesk. Basically, we had to take a crawl, walk, run approach. It took us a while to get things going since we were making such big changes to our workflow. So it took us about 6 months of pre-deployment customization and testing to get ready for release. We built the triage queuing, we built the SLA enforcement, we integrated the CMDB with our Active Directory, and we built a basic service catalog. Our soft deployment to the IT service desk happened in March. And we deployed the basic service catalog, we implemented the idle model, and we also imported into our CMDB our previous inventory management system. In June, we rolled out the service to the DSS help desk, as well as the power users and power watchers. We are planning on rolling out the countywide service catalog in September.
So we're going to talk about our future plans. It's been a busy year implementing BOSSDesk, but we have more plans to come out. Firstly, in September, our IT self-service portal rollout will go out to the rest of the county. After that, we'll be streamlining our onboarding and offboarding processes for better efficiency. Next, we'll be utilizing contract management for better tracking. And then also for better tracking, we'll be finally employing change management.
Great. All right. Well, that's pretty much all we have. So we'll go ahead and turn it back over to you guys.
All right.
Thank you. Chris, you're going to take over now, right?
Yes. So I was just making sure there wasn't anything else we wanted to cover first. What I'm going to do, by the way, my name is Chris Korenkowski. I am one of the senior support engineers here at Boss Solutions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing my screen. And I'm just going to show you guys real quickly just how easy it is to implement some of the structures in BOSSDesk that the county has used to set up the workflows that they have. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. So this is a demo instance that we have for demos and trials and things like that. In terms of the different portions of the workflow that Tuolumne County has implemented, some of the main structural factors are the dashboard widgets that keep track of the tickets that are in the triage queue, the SLAs, which determine when those tickets are due, the category and team separation that allows them to have multiple departments set up in that system, and the custom forms that allow them to collect the information they need in order to determine the correct triage for those tickets. So the first thing I want to go over is the dashboard widgets. As you can see, there are a lot of different dashboard widgets in the system to choose from. But if you're looking to implement something like a triage queue, it's very simple and easy to do. You just go over here to your ticket widgets. In this case, you want number of tickets with a selected extended status or a selected priority or category, depending on how you're defining your triage queue. So in this case, I would do a selected extended status. It's going to drop that widget down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that up here. And then that can actually allow me to go in and edit it and only show me the tickets that are in the status of unreviewed. So I can see that there's currently one unreviewed ticket. And if I click on that widget, it's click through. So it'll take me to that ticket that is in the status of unreviewed. Now, how do those tickets get into the unreviewed status? You can go into your workflows, and it's a very quick and easy workflow to put together. You just say set all incoming tickets as unreviewed. As title, our trigger is when a ticket is created. And then for a condition, you don't need any conditions for this one because it's going to apply to every ticket. So I'm just going to say every ticket that comes in gets this happening. And I'm just going to say set the extended status to unreviewed. That means as soon as a ticket comes in, before a technician has intervened, the ticket is set to the unreviewed status. And that's going to show us the ones that are in the triage queue. Now, once they've gone into the system and they've been processed out of the triage queue, we want to apply our SLAs. So the SLAs are very easy to set up as well. So if I go over here to settings, SLAs, and I can either apply these to all tickets equally, or I can say only apply certain rules to different categories. You can separate it up if you got different departments that work on different timelines. If you want to apply all tickets, just say match any ticket regardless of conditions. And then you can set separate timelines for responses and resolution. So you can say you have to respond within this amount of time for each of these different priorities. You have to resolve within this amount of time for each of these different priorities. And then you can actually add what are called exemptions, which allow you to pause the SLA when the ticket's in certain statuses like on hold or waiting on an external vendor or waiting on your user to provide additional information. That'll pause the countdown of your SLAs so that you don't have to get dinged if you're still waiting on information from the user. Because there are some points where the resolution of the ticket is outside of the control of your technicians, and you don't want to penalize them for time spent in those statuses. Now, when a ticket is coming up on its due date, you may want to send out reminders to your techs as well. So the system does allow for that as well. You can set up reminders to go out when a ticket hasn't been responded in time or is about to pass the threshold for response time. Same with escalation for the not resolved. You can either notify the technician, notify their manager, or both, just to help keep on top of those tickets. once the tickets go into the system, they're going to end up in the ticket queue. Now, they mentioned that they have two separate departments that kind of manage their own help desk, and those departments can see two different queues. Within our system, that's actually pretty easy to set up as well. And the way we do that is with access permissions, as well as category team permissions. So if I go in here to roles, for instance, and I look at the technician role, you'll see that down here under the ticket permissions, we have a permission that says only allow the technicians to view their team's tickets and directly assign tickets. That means they can't see every ticket in the system. They can only see the tickets that they've been granted access to. Now, the next thing we need to do is determine how that access is granted. That is also very quick and easy. We go over here and look at our teams, and we just click on which team it is. And we say this team can have access to the following categories. And then you just pick the category, the ticket categories that that team has access to. And that will govern what tickets show up in their queue. They can have their own separate triage queues if they want, or you can have one central triage queue and then the triage person farms them out to one department or the other. Both are completely valid. You can even set up different forms that automatically go into the separate queues. Now, as for building the forms themselves, again, we try to make it as easy as possible. We have a drag and drop form builder that allows you to build the forms you want by just going in and giving it a name. You can upload a custom icon if you want. You can optionally add a short and long description of those forms. You can control the visibility of the forms, meaning you can make it so that all users can see the form, only selected departments can see that form, or only agents can fill out that form. All of those are options. You can set up an approval requirement, either no approval, approval from manager, or approval from a predefined approval board. And then the form itself is just drag and drop. You pick what kind of fields you want, you drag and drop them. You can choose whether they are mandatory or optional. You can choose whether they can be used in a workflow rule. And then you can also choose to enable what's called conditional logic. That lets you hide or show blocks of the form based on the answers given in other portions of the form. So like if they check a box that says needs new computer, it could pop up 3 more fields that say specify the make, model, and dimensions of like RAM requirements or software requirements of the computer that you need. So these forms, like I said, are pretty easy to build. And then once you built them, you can just associate different workflows with those forms. Again, very easy to build those workflows. Just set up a ticket created trigger. And you can say things like, if a particular field has a particular answer in that form, then automatically generate a new action. In this case, add a task. And then you can just specify what those tasks are, and it will generate a task list automatically based on the selections made in the form. And then again, once you submit the form, they just show up in the ticket queue. They get processed out automatically. They can get sent into the triage queue, or they can get sent directly to the teams you would like. When you need to reassign them into the correct category, if you are doing triage, all you need to do is just click the category, team, and agent that you, or just the team. You can also assign a specific agent as well, and hit update, and your ticket will be sent over. So that's the basics of how some of those workflows work. At this point, I'm going to turn some of this back over to Renee, although I will be available to explain any other functionality as well.
Thank you, Chris, for that presentation. We have a couple of questions for Trevor's group. One of the questions is, how did your organization and users adapt to BOSSDesk? And do you have any feedback from them on the changes that you implemented?
So the adoption of BOSSDesk, I thought it was going to be a really heavy lift. I thought there was going to be a lot of resistance. I expected much more trouble than we had. The adoption was amazing. People loved it so much, they just dove right in. And thanks to Cullen's programming, the system worked the way we intended it to. And as a result, the functionality we've gotten out of it has been incredible, and everybody has greatly appreciated it.
Great. Thank you very much. We're experiencing a little audio difficulty, so I'm going to turn the questions over to Chris. Thank you.
The second question is, if you had to do it all over again, what would you have done differently?
Good question. I think ideally what I would have liked to have seen is a little bit more opportunity to do some testing. We did push it out fairly quickly. I know we had 6 months to get things ready, but we were changing our entire workflow, our entire way of operating, not just with the tool we were using, but how we were actually doing things day to day. I think if we'd had a bit more time, we could have had a little bit smoother of a rollout, i.e. having little bugs and glitches here and there that needed to be taken care of. A little more time would have been better. However, I think it would have also been a little detrimental to have waited longer. I think we got it in at just about the right time.
All righty. Let's see. The next question I've got is, how did your organization and users adapt to BOSSDesk? Was there any feedback from them on the changes?
Yeah, so I'll answer that. So we are still planning to roll out to our entire user base. But as we covered over some of our rollouts, we've done what we call a power watcher or a power user. And so we've incorporated about a small group of about probably 30 to 40 users to use this program and to just basically gather telemetry from it. And I actually just sent out a survey last week and received the data, and it has been massive. Everyone has praised the program. Everyone loves it. Everyone's begging for it to be launched ASAP. And so at this point, I'm rushing to get everything in, to get any feedback that they've sent me, implemented into the system, and we're getting ready to launch because it has been nothing but a great thing so far.
All righty, glad to hear it. And then the next one we have. What are your future plans for any performance improvements or effectiveness improvements for the organization using BOSSDesk?
Yeah, so I think the next big step is for me is metrics. We need to work on some of the reporting to figure out exactly how we can get the KPIs that we need. So that's the next step for me, is to start working on the reporting so we can actually see the stats on how we're doing.
All right. Yep. And BOSSDesk does have a lot of functionality to allow that. It's just a matter of deciding what your most important KPIs are and designing the reports around them. So let's see. Looks like I have one question from the Q&A. Can I design a ticket for multiple users? So yes and no. Yes, you can have. I assume that you are referring to creating a ticket that can be worked on by multiple technicians. So yes, that is possible, and that's done with the task lists as part of the tickets. When you break a ticket into multiple subtasks, each of those individual subtasks can have their own technicians. So even though the overarching ticket is only assigned to one technician, individual portions of the ticket can be assigned to different techs. And I believe you guys do also use the task lists as well for you guys' workflows. Is that correct?
Yes, we've actually built that functionality quite a bit. Like we talked about in our presentation, the hardware coding, we have that specific ticket go to almost 3 different teams. And so we've handled that before in our old and busted system, and it was awful. Our deployment was very slow. And now with this new task system, every team knows exactly what they're doing, what team is the holdup per se, and it's a much more streamlined process. It's probably one of our favorite features in BOSSDesk.
All righty, that's good to hear. So let's take a look here. I don't see any more questions in the standard Q&A. So let's see. I am going to open it up to any other questions. If you'd like to ask a question out loud, you can raise your hand in the queue, and I will unmute you so that you can ask the question in person. So I'm going to open it up to that first, and then once we finish up with those questions, I'll go ahead and announce the results of the gift card raffle, and then we'll close it out. So any other questions? Go ahead and hit raise your hand now if you'd like to ask them. All right, we've got one from Kevin Martz. Hey, Kevin, I've just allowed you to speak. So what have you got for us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah, you might have said this at the beginning. I was distracted a little earlier on. About how many end users do you guys have?
We have about 850 end users.
Wow.
I would say about 1,100 devices, 1,100 endpoints.
That's a lot more than I thought for that size of a county.
Okay.
So that's great.
Yeah, we've got a fairly big organization.
All righty. Any other questions that either I or Tuolumne County can answer for you guys? Again, just hit the raise your hand button in the console if you'd like to ask one. All righty. I'm not seeing any other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner of the gift card raffle. So the gift card for this webinar goes to Richard Heyman from the city of Winston-Salem. So congratulations, Richard. And I'm going to pass it back over to Renee. We'll see if she is able to use her audio at the moment to close us out.
Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you, Trevor and Cullen, for sharing your innovative workflow and how BOSSDesk has helped you to dramatically improve your process. And we wish to thank everyone for joining us on today's webinar. If you have any additional questions or would like to learn more about BOSSDesk, simply contact our team at the information provided on the screen. Wishing you all a terrific day.